Hi everyone, welcome to the second webinar conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming CIMA operational case study examinations happening in November 2022. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for OCS at TCS. So I hope you guys would have attended or watched the recorded version of webinar number 1 where we provided a 6-week study plan, and according to the study plan which we shared, you guys are supposed to start work this week onwards. So hopefully, I think that you guys will start work from tomorrow so that you can utilize the remaining 6 weeks to the utmost level, so that you need not worry too much or pressurize yourself too much closer to the exam. Instead, you can start work right now, and bit by bit, moving closer to the exam, your workload will significantly decrease, and that will contribute towards creating a positive attitude closer to the exam, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you guys. So having said that, let's try to figure out the session outcomes. The session is divided into 3 main parts. First things first, I'll be taking you through the industry analysis slides, not the entire set of slides, because you need to purchase it under the purchase content which is supposed to be purchased. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just highlighting the main nitty-gritties which you need to understand with regards to the industry. And on top of that, I'll also be talking about how or what type of application you need to bring in, or what type of information you need to bring in from your Preseen, and how to apply your knowledge, Preseen related knowledge, when writing your answers. And at the very end, I'll be conducting a Preseen analysis. Please be mindful that the Preseen analysis sessions conducted by TCS usually consists of 4 videos. I'm just doing section one of all 4 videos. So having said that, let's look at the schedule about with regards to the webinar. So our 6-week study plan is done, and today we are conducting the Preseen analysis. An extremely important webinar is happening next Saturday, which is answering technique. I hope that you guys will take part of it as well, because you need to know how or what type of answers you need to develop, especially since the OCS exam is a time pressured exam. You are allocated 3 hours and you need to know how to utilize these 3 hours, and within these 3 hours you need to type something like 3000 words, 3000 to 3200 words. So it's no easy task. So you need to have a good understanding about how what type of answer planning technique you need to possess, and what type of answer structuring you need to do. So all these things will be discussed in the upcoming webinar, which is happening next Saturday. All right, then let me also talk about the 6-week study plan. I'm not going to talk about what's going to happen from what you are supposed to do from the 2nd week onwards. Instead, I'm just going to focus on this week, and I'll highlight, so reiterate what you need to do within this week. So first things first, we are supposed to attend the webinar on the 24th of September, which is happening right now. So you have taken the first step towards, sticking to the study plan. And on top of that, within this week, up until the 30th of September, you are supposed to read the annotated Preseen, watch the Preseen analysis videos, 4 videos in total, refer to the financial analysis slides, refer to the industry analysis slides, top 10 issue slides, and refer to the OCS familiarization kit. Okay, so this has little evaluation. Instead, what you need to do is you just need to watch the videos and just read through the slides and content which we have provided. Okay, so that's what we are supposed to do within this week. I hope you'd stick to the study plan. All right, so we are looking at the first part of today's webinar, which is about Preseen application. What is the right approach towards applying the knowledge which you had gained through the Preseen document? First things first, you need to know your key information, such as FireWorks sells 6 different outdoor grills. So you need to possess the key information, because I hope that you would have gone through the entire pre-scene. There are loads and loads of information. So you need to know which of the information is actually relevant to you and which of the information you can keep out. So that's where the annotated pre-scene comes into the picture. So we at TCS, what we do is we had further evaluated the pre-scene, and a summary is provided. So based on this summary, you can easily identify which key information you need to remember. And on top of that, as part of the annotations, we have provided hints about what can be tested, or the type of scenarios which can be tested at the exam. And on top of that, we have also highlighted the syllabus content, so that you can brush up your knowledge based on the suggestions which we have made within the annotated pre-scene. So our pre-scene analysis, which is going to happen tonight, is going to be based on this annotated pre-scene. So in a while, you would see what I'm talking about. Then you need to remember your key ratios. I'm not suggesting that you need to know all the ratios, just the most important information pertaining to the most important financial aspects of the organization. You need to possess all this info. Again, we at TCS, we prepare a set of financial analysis slides, and on top of that, our pre-scene video. Out of the 4 videos, the last pre-scene analysis video is pertaining to the financial analysis slides. So if you watch that video and just glance through the set of slides which we are providing, then you would know all the key information pertaining to the financials of FireWorks, on which this times case study is based on. And you are supposed to prepare for possible scenarios, but be open-minded. So I said that we will be suggesting possible scenarios which can be tested at the exam. Our mock, through our mock 5 exam standard mocks, we are highlighting these scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real exam. However, the CIMA examiner wants you to be open-minded. So why is he expecting you to be open-minded? Because the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real-life corporate environment or a real-life work environment at your exam. So you are supposed to play the role of a finance officer. As I highlighted in webinar number 1, the finance officer is at the operational level or the lowest level of the organization. So when you walk into the exam, it's as if your finance manager is sending you an email. Your finance director is sending you an email. So based on the concerns highlighted by your finance manager or your finance director or some other director of the company, you are supposed to provide your suggestions pertaining to how to overcome these problems, and they'll ask you for certain information pertaining to certain theoretical concepts, and you need to do that. And on top of that, you'd have to explain certain facts and figures such as variance analysis. You need not do any calculations. Instead, all the numbers will be provided, and you are supposed to evaluate these numbers as a finance officer. So since the examiner is trying to replicate a real life work environment, you are supposed to be open-minded. Why? Because in a real life work environment, you cannot predict what type of an email you'd receive at your office until you receive it. So at the exam as well, you cannot predict what type of a scenario or what type of a question or what type of syllabus content will be tested in your paper. Instead, just do your homework, go with an open mind, and just think in a practical manner and provide answers. Okay, so that's that. And remember that the scenario presented in the exam carries the latest information. So in the pre-scene document, if you look at the pre-scene document, it is divided into 4 main areas. Area number 1 is about an introduction about the company. In area number 2, information has been provided about the industry in which FireWorks is based at. And on top of that, in the third area, internal dynamics are highlighted pertaining to FireWorks. And in the fourth area, you will get all the financial statements of your company. Okay, so in all these 4 areas, the examiner gives you an indication about what has happened in the past. of the chosen company. But at your exam, latest information will be provided to you, and based on the latest information, utilizing the information which you know about the company already, you are supposed to provide your answers. Okay, so remember that the scenario presented in the exam carries the latest information. So you need to know about the company, but knowing about the company fully won't help you. Instead, you need to have an open mind and provide your answers at the real exam. So that's the pre-seen application, and how to refer to pre-seen information in your answers. Okay, so you are supposed to refer or cite information in such a way that it adds value to the point you are presenting in the answer. So you can bring in information from the pre-seen, but whenever you are doing it, you need to figure out whether it adds value to your answer or not. So I've seen so many students out there throughout my 10-year career as a CIMA instructor. What I've seen is students try to show that they have gone through the pre-seen. So in that quest, they bring in information unnecessarily. Just because you bring in information which is not relevant to the question or the task, you're not going to get marks. The examiner would know that you are trying to show that you have gone through the pre-seen. Absolutely not necessary, because always remember, you are playing the role of a finance officer who's at the lowest level of the organization. At the SCS level, when you are doing the strategic case study, you are supposed to bring in a lot of information from the pre-scene, but not at this stage. As a finance officer, you won't know about all the nitty-gritties pertaining to the company. You won't know about the long-term strategy of the company. So in such a context, you need not always bring in information. Even if you don't bring in information, then you'd still get marks if the requirement is fulfilled, because at the OCS level, the requirements are highly theoretical. Theories are heavily tested, but practical decision making does not come into the picture. Okay, so in such a context, you need not bring in so many information or so much of information from the pre-scene, but it's better to remember the key points. If you remember the key points, then and if you bring in this information to your answers, then it adds value to the answer, and the examiner will give you 1 or 2 additional marks, and that will be extremely helpful for you to pass the exam at the end. And do not force it in to show the marker that you have studied the pre-scene, as I highlighted earlier, because again, you are at the operational level as a finance officer. You won't know you won't possess all the information about the company, and you are not expected to memorize the entire pre-scene. So with regards to referring to pre-scene information in your answers, attend webinar number 3, exam technique, where I'll be highlighting. That's the next webinar, which is happening next Saturday, where I'll be highlighting how you are supposed to bring in information, and what type of information needs to be brought into your answers. And on top of that, you can again understand what type of information needs to be included, or how to bring in information from the pre-scene by referring to the suggested answers of our 5 mock exams. All right, so having said that, let's try to figure out the study plan for E1, F1 and P1, because as I told you earlier, at the OCS level, the questions are going to be highly theoretical. So there's extremely limited amount of practical decision making involved. So in such a context, you need to know your P1, F1 and E1. If I'm being honest with you, out of the 3 case studies, OCS is the hardest one, because there's limited practical decision making. You need to know your theories inside out. Okay, especially this is valid to students who are coming through an exemption route, such as the finance leadership program or the FLP route, because since you are coming through an exemption, you might not have studied or understood concepts in depth. But when you come into these CIMA exams, you need to know your theory inside out, especially at the operational level. Okay, so I'm not talking about you having to work out numbers, as I highlighted earlier. All the facts and figures will be provided in your exam, but you need to have an appropriate level of knowledge, which will enable you to describe these numbers appropriately. So you need to be really conversant with your P1 and F1 related areas. And when you are going through our mock exams, you would see the same thing. A lot of questions, 60% or 70% of the questions are based on P1, and something like 25% of the questions are based on F1, and E1 is just when you look at E1, it's just 5%. The weightage is just 5%, or the prominence provided for E1 is just 5%. Why? The E pillar, the enterprise pillar, has everything to do with decision making. There's an extremely limited amount of decision making at the operational level. So that's exactly why you would see a high level of prominence given to P1 and F1. So prepare for application of theories and concepts. You need to be really conversant with these things, and prepare for the interpretation of figures and numbers. As I highlighted earlier, you need not do any calculations. Instead, the facts and figures or the numbers will be provided, and you are supposed to evaluate these numbers. And when preparing for the OCS exam, do not skip any topics, especially with regards to P1 and F1. Okay, you need to be extremely thorough with these syllabuses. And as I told you guys earlier, if you're coming through the FLP route or an exemption route, uh, you need to brush up your knowledge in these areas. So there's absolutely nothing to worry here, because we have developed two packages which can be extremely beneficial for FLP students. Okay, and do not rely on predictions, as any area can be examined. I highlighted this point earlier as well. I've seen so many tutors out there giving predictions about scenarios or syllabus content which can be tested. Although that is the case, the CIMA examiner is extremely particular about this point. You cannot predict about the type of questions which will be thrown at you at the real exam, because any area can be examined. So you need to be thorough with your theoretical theories and concepts, walking into the exam. All right, so having said that, let's move on to the Preseen analysis. Before we do that, any questions, guys? Any questions up until now? If you have any questions or doubts, you can switch on your mics and talk, or you can simply, drop me a message via the chat section. Any questions, folks? Okay, so let's move on to the Preseen analysis. As I highlighted earlier, so this time's case study is based on a company known as FireWorks. So let's try to figure out what this company is about. So let's first things first, let's try to figure out what your role is. You are supposed to play the role of a finance officer within the finance department of FireWorks. So I said that we at TCS provide a document called the annotated Preseen. That's exactly what you can see in here. So these are the annotations I myself have prepared. So if you go through this document, you'd know which information you need to remember and which information you can leave out. Okay, so as a finance officer, what are you supposed to do? What type of a role are you supposed to play within the company? Your focus is or should be on the short term, because as I highlighted earlier, you are involved with the day-to-day running of the company. So you are involved with the short-term activities of the company. You need to be conversant with budgeting. You need not do any calculations here, but you need to know about the concepts, the conceptual framework behind different types of budgeting. For instance, incremental budgeting, imposed versus participative style of budgeting, and on top of that, zero-based budgeting, rolling budgets, beyond budgeting, what if analysis, sensitivity analysis, all these things fall under budgeting. So you need to be thorough with your knowledge pertaining to these concepts, and you need to have a good understanding about different types of variances. So be prepared to interpret numbers, because the variances, facts and figures pertaining to variances will be provided at your exam, and you are supposed to interpret these variances. And you need to have a good understanding about costing, the type of costing carried out within the company, digital costing included. Okay, Then working capital management comes into the picture. Since you are involved with the day-to-day running of the company, you need to know how to manage your inventories, how to manage receivables, payables, and the cash position of the company. And again, short-term risk management can be tested extensively. I've seen so many questions in the past variants where short-term risk management is repeated. And on top of that, you are supposed to assist decision making. So as I told you earlier, there's extremely limited practical decision making involved at this stage. So when it comes to decision making, you would have to recommend and suggest KPIs. That's where decision making will be tested. Okay. And you are supposed to assist with decision making. So all your decisions need to be ethically sound, thereby adhering to the CIMA code of ethics, which falls under E1. So that's your role. That's what you are supposed to play. That's the type of a role you are supposed to play. So before we move on to understanding what happens within this company, I'll give you a synopsis about the industry. So it's better to know about the industry dynamics before you dive into the company and try to get to know the company. So first things first, let me highlight the purpose of the industry analysis. You are required to be familiar with the industry, but need not be an industry expert. You need to have some type of knowledge about the industry, but you need not be an expert at it, especially since you are playing the role of a finance officer. Okay. The purpose of this industry analysis is to develop a broad understanding about the industry in which the company operates, and this will help you construct sound arguments and prepare for possible developments in the exam. So by going through our industry analysis slides, you'd understand about the real life dynamics of the chosen industry, because all the information which we have compiled are based on real life companies and the real life industry dynamics. So by looking at it, you'd be in a position to have all the necessary information or a general understanding about the dynamics within the industry. So first things first, I'm going to take you through the definition of the market. So the market is the barbecue and grill market. So let's try to figure out what this industry is all about. So this industry includes entities that produce barbecue and grill that use charcoal, gas, or electricity as fuel to cook. Okay, so that's what this industry is about. So this industry includes companies which manufacture barbecues and grills, and this the fuel used within these barbecues and grills are charcoal, gas, or electricity. Okay, and this involves a cooking method which uses live fire and smoke. Okay, so that's pretty basic. And food is cooked slowly at low temperatures, 225 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, for long hours. Okay, another dynamic with regards to the product specifications. And on top of that, grills are mainly made with porcelain enameled cast iron, porcelain enameled steel, or stainless steel. Okay, so when you get to know about the company, you would see that the same information is replicated in your Preseen document as well. So if you look at the major players within this industry, all major players give or provide a general warranty period of 10 years. Okay, so then I'm going to move into the industry trends. As I highlighted earlier, I'm not going to go through the entire document. Instead, I'm just going to focus on the key areas because of the time limitation. So let's look at the industry trends. So how the industry is going to change into the future. So there's a lot of product innovation happening, especially with regards to electric grills. Okay, so there are smoke-free electric grills, environmentally friendly ones, because I'll be highlighting these points in depth in my second video, which should be purchased under the paid content. So in that video, I'll be highlighting about the type of customers within this industry. So most of the Gen Z customers are looking for sustainably sound companies. They do not purchase from companies which are emitting a lot of carbon dioxide. So most of these electric grills are known to be environmentally friendly. Most of the Gen Z customers purchase them. And electric grills are much portable than the older or the traditional versions, and these can be used indoors. They are easier to clean and maintain, and some of them has built-in sensors which provide energy efficiency. So these sensors can track the temperature within the electric grill, and control the temperature on its own. So these are the type of innovations happening with regards to electric grills. And there are Wi-Fi enabled grills as well. So these grills carries digital screens, so it's easy to operate these grills, and enables remote temperature control. So you can use your smartphone or an app which is on your smartphone, and remotely control these Wi-Fi enabled grills. And there are automatic cleaning systems as well, such as one-touch cleaning, because if you look at traditional outdoor grills, cleaning is problematic. It takes up a lot of time and it's extremely messy. So all these problems can be gotten rid of if you invest your money on an automatic cleaning system. So that's something new which is happening within the industry. And then and on top of that, as I highlighted earlier, there's smart technology being inculcated into these grills, and mobile apps are there, which enables customers to remotely control these grills. So example, Weber Steven launched its smart grilling hub with connected USB ports and wireless access through a mobile app. So I've provided a real life example as well. So let's try to figure out what drives demand within this industry. There's a rising demand for barbecue restaurants in developing countries, because the barbecue industry or the culture was not there in the developing world, but it's spreading in the developing world, especially in Asia and the African regions. So this had resulted in increasing the demand for outdoor as well as indoor grills. And there's a rise of trekking and camping activities in developed countries. So there's a lot of trekking and camping activities happening, especially the youngsters are involved with these activities. So these guys opt to cook their food using grills, mainly outdoor grills. And there's a rising popularity of home cooking, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. People are accustomed to staying at home and cooking by themselves. So the demand for grills are or outdoor as well as indoor grills are driven by popularity of home cooking. All right, so these are the industry trends which I wanted you to know about before we moved into the pre-scene and try to understand what type of a company FireWorks is. Okay, so FireWorks is a company that designs, manufactures, and sells a range of outdoor grills. So from the inception, from start to the end, this company is involved with designing, manufacturing, and selling a range of outdoor grills. Okay, so remember, these guys are not into selling indoor grills. Instead, they are only focused on manufacturing, designing, and selling outdoor grills. Okay, so based on this information, I've highlighted the probable areas which can be tested. Standard costing will be tested for sure. Costing methods will be tested, the traditional costing methods as well as the digital costing methods. And on top of that, cost volume profit analysis or CVP analysis, or simply put, break-even analysis or multi-product break-even analysis. All these things can be tested at your exam. And this is a company which is based in Beeland, a country in Europe, and the currency of the company is B dollar. Currency of this country is B dollars, Beeland dollars, and they sell movable standalone grills that can be located wherever the user wishes in an outdoor setting. So as I highlighted earlier, these guys are selling outdoor grills which are movable and standalone. Okay, and the company was founded in 1984 by two individuals, David and Debbie Wheeler. Okay, so the company has been operating for the past 38 years. So they have significant industry expertise, which can be considered as a strength. And on top of that, since they had been within the market for the past 38 years, this is something, this affects brand reputation in a positive manner as well. Okay. And David was an executive in marketing, and Debbie was a production manager in a metalworks company. So, in order to run a company such as this, a grill manufacturer, it's better to have some type of marketing knowledge. So that's exactly what David had brought in to the company. And Debbie, the other founder, was a production manager in a metalworks company. That's extremely beneficial as well, because we are dealing with metalworks, and one of the founders are from a metalworks background. So there's expertise in marketing and operations, which is again considerable strength for a company such as this. And David and Debbie were both passionate about food and the great outdoors. And these guys identified a gap in the market for quality, easy to use grills. So this gives us an indication about the customer needs, or what type of needs the customers within Beeland possess or look into before purchasing a grill. Okay, so they are looking at quality and ease of use. Okay, and on top of that, since these guys had identified a gap in the market, it stipulates that, or it gives us an indication that FireWorks kickstarted the industry in Beeland. So these guys were the first movers. They kickstarted the industry. So that is a considerable strength when you think about the branding initiatives, because this company can always brand themselves as the company which brought in outdoor grilling into Beeland. Okay. The first of FireWorks grills, which were launched in 1984, was a simple but high quality design fueled by charcoal. Okay. It was sold through specialist outdoor furniture retailers and large garden centers. And the product was of high quality, which tells us that the reputation of the company is based on quality. And FireWorks established a good reputation because of that. The following year saw a marked increase in sales and greater awareness of the FireWorks brand. So these guys started in 1984. They kept it simple. They were selling high quality products which were fueled by charcoal. Because of the quality, the demand for these products grew, so did the reputation. And because of that, in the following year, 1985, sales had increased significantly. So there's exponential growth in the year of inception, which is actually rare for a business, any type of business. And this shows that FireWorks meal kits were fulfilling customer needs. So what is not meal kits, actually, I've made a blunder here. FireWorks products were fulfilling customer needs. Okay. And in 1998, a gas fueled grill was added to the FireWorks range. So they started with a charcoal grill, and later on, they have moved on to the gas-fueled grill market as well. And more recently, in 2018, an electrically powered wood pellet grill was added to the range. So as part of the industry analysis, I said that there are charcoal grills, gas-powered grills, and electric grills. That's the exact information which you can see within the Preseen as well. So this company has expanded the product range considering the changing needs of customers. This is again a significant strength of the company, and it shows that the company is carries a habit of exploiting opportunities. So this is a company which has changed with times, and into the future we are supposed to do the same thing. And FireWorks has experienced sales growth every year since its foundation. So that tells a lot about the company. So for the past 38 years, every year sales had grown, which shows that we are customer friendly and we are changing with times. We are exploiting opportunities. So that's why our revenues are growing on an year-on-year basis. In 2018, David and Debbie retired, and the task of running the company was handed to their youngest child, Catherine Wheeler. She's a qualified chef working in top restaurants throughout Europe. So we are in the food market. So it's good to have a qualified chef as the captain of the company, because then you would bring in a lot of innovation. You try to make sure that the grills are customer friendly, and on top of that, as efficient as much as possible. So that's something good to have. And Catherine had worked at her parents' company for 4 years. So this shows that Catherine possesses knowledge about the restaurant industry as well as the internal dynamics of FireWorks, why she had worked within the company for the past 4 years. So that's a significant strength. And on top of that, this individual, Catherine Wheeler, is hell-bent on bringing forth innovation or changing the company in line to be in line with the needs of the customers. So that's a significant strength as well. Currently, FireWorks operates from 3 sites which are located within 10 kilometers of each other: head office, production facility, and distribution center. So they have 3 facilities: the head office, where you get all the back office functions happening. That's where you get the marketeers, the finance guys, the HR guys, and whatnot. Okay, and they have a separate production facility as well, and on top of that they have a separate distribution center. And all these 3 facilities are located 10 kilometers from each other. So that is problematic. I'm asking the question as to whether we can bring them closer to reduce logistics costs and carbon emissions. So as I highlighted in the industry analysis, most Gen Z customers are extremely concerned about carbon emissions. So in such a context, if we operate, especially with regards to the production facility and distribution center, if we can bring them closer to each other, we can significantly cut down on our carbon emissions and appear as a sustainable company. And on top of that, we can significantly reduce our logistics costs as well. So I'm totally fine with the head office being somewhere else, but at least the production facility and the distribution center needs to be brought closer to each other. The company does not operate any retail outlets. So that's a main point which you need to remember. The company is not involved with running their own retail outlets. Instead, what they do is they sell through an intermediary. Okay, so let's look at the revenue related information. So the revenue split for 2021 was they have sold through retailers in Beeland, thereby generating 68% of revenues through retailers, and they have sold through third-party international agents as well. So these guys are into exporting their produce. So 12% of their revenues are coming from exports, and when it comes to exports, they are selling through third-party international agents. The only type of direct sales which we are carrying out occurs or is carried out via the website, which is 20%. So we don't have our own retail outlets. Instead, if we are selling to an end customer, that is through our website, nothing else. Or if a customer is to purchase our products, he or she will have to walk into a retail outlet and purchase it through a third-party retailer. This is in line with the industry dynamics. If you look at the real-life industry dynamics, most of the grill manufacturers out there, real-life companies, they do not have their own retail outlets. Instead, they sell it through a retailer, an agent, or if there's some type of direct sales occurring, it's only through the website. Okay, and there's an opportunity for FireWorks to increase online and international sales, because especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, most people are getting everything done online. So in such a context, there's a significant opportunity to grow sales, online related sales. And on top of that, by exporting, definitely we can increase the opportunities at our disposal. The company has 316 employees, and all employees live and work in Beeland. So we can see that this company is focused on doing everything within the country. So most of their operations, not most of the operations, all their operations are happening within Beeland, except the export related sales, which results in or which generates 12% of the company's revenue. All right, so let's try to figure out the ethos of the company. So the ethos are threefold. First things first, they are hell-bent on creating grills that enhance the outdoor eating experience. So they have a tagline which goes as "Fireworks for delicious food." So this is in line with the philosophy of the two founders, because the two founders were, they started the business not to make profits actually, but to enhance the outdoor eating experience. So this tells a lot about the company. So the company still shares the vision of the founders, so that's something good to have. And the company is also focused on creating opportunities for hospitality and friendship. Again, the profit motive is not highlighted in here. Instead, they are saying that they are trying to enable outdoor socialization and create perfectly cooked food. Okay, so this is the value system is again focused on customer needs, about bringing the community together. Okay, and they are also focused on achieving sustainability. So in order to be seen as a sustainable company, they are also always trying to figure out whether they are sourcing their raw material from sustainable suppliers. And on top of that, which if they are focused on ethical sourcing, we have to be conversant about how the suppliers are treating their own employees, whether there are any underage employees working, whether these guys are paid properly, paid on time, whether they are treated, whether there's hire and fire policy. If that is the case, we can't keep purchasing from these type of suppliers. And the company enjoys firm relationships with suppliers and strives to achieve firm relationships with suppliers. Why? Because if you have a good relationship with your supplier, then it's easier to get your raw material. If you are facing certain working capital issues, you can talk to your suppliers and extend your credit periods. And on top of that, the quality of your end product depends on the quality of your raw materials. So it's better to have collaborative relationships with your suppliers, so that for a fact that all your raw material and component coming through the suppliers are of the highest quality. And on top of that, if there are any issues with the suppliers, it's easy to negotiate with them and get rid of these issues instantaneously if you have collaborative relationships. Okay, and the aim of the company is to achieve carbon neutrality in 6 years. So carbon neutrality means there can't be any emissions within the company. So in order to achieve this goal in the coming 6 years, the company tries to further improve supply chains, manufacturing, and logistics. So how can you improve supply chains? By sharing knowledge with your suppliers, by getting closer to your suppliers, and going for limited sourcing agreements, rather than getting your raw material and component from multiple suppliers. Instead, you need to focus on a few, so that it's easier for you to create a collaborative relationship with them. So there will be a lot of knowledge sharing. So both the supplier and FireWorks will sit together and try to drive out non-value adding activities. So by doing that, you are getting rid of carbon emissions as well as unnecessary costs. Okay, and the same could be said about the manufacturing process. So these guys are trying to get rid of non-value adding activities from the manufacturing process, thereby reducing carbon emissions. And on top of that, you might see a scenario where alternative energy sources are used, such as solar panels being put up, so that your carbon emission comes down. And on top of that, they are trying to drive out carbon emissions from their logistics as well. So this is a situation where the company has to invest on electric vehicles, electric delivery vehicles. And on top of that, you can use systems, IT and IS to your advantage, in order to drive out non-value adding activities from your logistics related activities. And as I highlighted earlier, there's a 10-kilometer distance between your production as well as the distribution center. You need to definitely bring these two facilities together or closer to each other to achieve your goal of achieving carbon neutrality in 6 years. So that's what we can say about the ethos of the chosen company. All right, so having said that, I'm moving on to next is the industry analysis. The information is all over the place, so because of that, I'm moving on to page number 7. because the industry analysis has everything to do with video number 2. Okay, so let's try to figure out what type of products these guys are selling. Okay, so FW, so FireWorks product offering, they are into in-house manufacturing using high-grade stainless steel and premium porcelain enameling systems. Okay, so I highlighted this in the industry analysis as well. So as I told you guys earlier, if I go back there, grills are mainly made with porcelain enameled cast iron, porcelain enameled steel, or stainless steel. So that's exactly what you can see within this Preseen as well. So FireWorks is using high grade or high end stainless steel and premium porcelain enameling systems. Okay, and they are using the best components, and the products carry a unique color, which is actually good, because then the customers can easily demarcate your product from the competition. And the aim is to provide the ultimate outdoor cooking experience. That's highlighted in the ethos of the company. So let's look at the product range. There are gas grills, charcoal grills, and electric grills. 2 gas grills are sold. You need not remember the names of them, because if by any chance, if you want to remember the names, you can simply whilst writing your answers, you can simply go to the Preseen document, and then all the information will be provided. So I've I haven't mentioned too much information about it, because too much product information is actually not a necessity, right? So they are selling 2 types of gas grills, 3 types of charcoal grills, and 1 type of electric grill. Okay, and on top of that, on top of the main product range, they are selling accessories such as tongs, spatulas, turners, grilling racks, gloves, aprons, cookbooks, and charcoal. And all their products, especially looking at the main product range, the grill cook box comes with a 10-year warranty with free replacement. So if there's something wrong with the grill cook box, it will be replaced free of charge. And when you look at other components, all components carry a 5-year warranty with free replacements or repairs again. Okay, so that's pretty general. As I highlighted in the industry analysis, this is the exact type of warranty you'd get when you look at real life companies as well. Okay, so then these are the type of products. So you can just look into this information. It's not too relevant, but just try to get a general idea. Then let's look at the directors. There are several different directors within the company. The managing director is Catherine Wheeler, one of the children of the 2 founders. Then there's Ben Bruce, the finance director. You'd see this name being used a lot in your questions, because you will be receiving emails from your finance director, Ben Bruce. Then there's a production director, sales and marketing director, human resources director, and a director who is in charge of distribution and logistics. So I am not gonna go into the nitty-gritties, because you can read it on your own and easily understand. These are the points which you need to remember about the general type of leadership within the organization. So when you look at all the directors, these guys are extremely experienced and qualified in their related fields. So that's something good. Okay, and all directors believe in company aims. So that's again a strength of the company, because then all the directors will be driving the company in the same direction. But there is a problem. There is no IT director. So as I highlighted earlier, 20% of our sales are happening through our websites. And on top of that, this company tries to achieve carbon neutrality. So as I highlighted earlier, if you are to use or achieve this type of carbon neutrality, you need to use IT and IS systems, because you need to get closer to your suppliers. You need to have collaborative relationships with your suppliers. So there's a lot of information which you need to share. And on top of that, the supplier will be sharing information. I said that you need to sit with the supplier and try to figure out how to get rid of non-value adding activities. So in order to keep track of all our operations, you need to have systems in place. You need so these systems will tell you whether we are getting rid of non-value adding activities or not. Okay, so if we are to achieve the stipulated type of carbon neutrality, then we need to start using systems for that. We need to share all information with our suppliers, and on top of that, we are trying to reduce carbon emissions in logistics as well. So we need to keep track of all our distribution vehicles, whether they are being driven in the most efficient manner. For instance, how often we need to replace our tires, the speed at which our distribution lorries or trucks needs to be driven, all these things, energy efficiency of our fleet, whether we need to replace our vehicles, all these things we need to keep track of. And if we are to do it properly, we need to use systems. Okay, and on top of that, 20% of our revenue comes from website-based sales. So you need to have ITIS. You need to utilize ITIS appropriately to increase your website-based sales. Okay, so in all these areas, we are supposed to use IT and IS, but there is no IT director within the company. So it's better to have one. But since this is a small company, it's highly probable that you won't see an IT director, but I'm suggesting that it's better to have one. Then the directors emphasize on product development, because that's exactly what the company had done in the past. For the past 38 years, we started with charcoal grills, we moved on to gas grills, and we have brought in electric grills as well. So we have to keep on innovating. I spoke about the type of innovation within the industry. So we need to, embrace these, changing tides. So that's the emphasis on product development the directors have. They believe in innovation, especially Catherine Wheeler, the managing director. So that's good. And they are hell-bent on having good relationships with suppliers, customers, and couriers. So when I'm using the term customers here, always remember, I'm not only talking about the end customer, I'm talking about retailers, third-party agents, as well as end customers. And on top of that, they want to have good relationships with couriers. So you might be wondering where couriers came into the picture. When talking or when taking you through the video pertaining to the industry analysis, I'll be highlighting this. And in the third video, where I'll be talking about the internal dynamics, again, I'll be talking about couriers in depth. But since I won't be able to go into the third area, I'll just simply specify how couriers had come into the picture. So when it comes to selling our products through retailers and international agents, we use our own vehicles. So what we do is we manufacture our products, we send it to a distribution center, and via the distribution center, we distribute our products to the retailers and the third-party agents. So we have to handle logistics on our own when it comes to third-party agents and retailer-based sales. But when it comes to online sales, we are using couriers. So why are we using couriers? Because we cannot predict how often these online customers will place orders. When you are dealing with, or when you are involved with a B2B relationship, a business-to-business relationship, or when you are involved with retailers and agents, these guys, we can predict how often they will place an order, because we have a good relationship with them. We have been working with them for a long period of time. So in such a context, we can predict, how often and how much they'll purchase from us. But when it comes to online sales, we cannot predict it. So that's exactly why we are using couriers. So rather than using our own logistics services, it's better to use couriers because it's much more efficient. So the directors are trying to achieve a good relationship with couriers as well, because however much quality we achieve, even if we use the highest quality raw material, even if we have the best manufacturing process in place, if the couriers do not transport our products on time, then that's going to be a disadvantage for us. It's going to affect our reputation in a negative manner. So it's good to have good relationship with couriers, and these guys believe in brand development, especially the sales and marketing director. He's hell-bent on moving into export markets and developing our brand in these markets. And these guys are focused on expanding the market share. So how can you expand market share? Especially by exploiting export markets. Okay, so the type of syllabus content which can be tested are highlighted in here. So things to do with syllabus content to do with E1 ethics will be tested, because the directors need to be involved with ethical decision making. Digital and social media marketing can be tested. Big data and artificial intelligence, as I highlighted earlier, as part of industry dynamics, I said that there are Wi-Fi controlled grills, AI backed grills. So in such a context, definitely these areas can be tested. Big data can be utilized to figure out what type of needs customers have, whether the customer needs are changing. And on top of that, if our customers invest on, let's assume that we are producing an AI backed grill which can be controlled via a smartphone. We don't have that within our range at the moment. Let's assume there's a exam scenario where we are moving into, or we are embracing product innovation. So in such a context, if a customer is using a smartphone to control our product, then we can utilize that information by using big data. All right, so all these things can be tested. Business intelligence tools and supply chain management, these are the E1 related areas which can be tested. Then P1 related areas, CGMA cost transformation model, please go through it, because I've seen this question being thrown at you on multiple locations, and especially since this company believes in sustainability, you need to know the link between sustainability and the CGMA cost transformation model, and digital costing can be tested. So all these syllabus areas which I've highlighted as part of the annotations, these things are highlighted in the 5 mock exams which we have prepared. So rather than trying to go through these areas and carry out your revision based on theories and concepts, or based on textbooks or revision material, you can simply go through the mocks which we have provided, because all these syllabus content are covered via our mocks. All right, so that's the first part of the Preseen analysis. So the Preseen analysis is done. Any questions, guys, before we move forward? If you have any questions, you can raise them now. Any doubts? So, all right, so let me take you through, give you information about the products which we are offering. So there are 2 main packages, the essential pack and the value pack. So if you are extremely comfortable with 100% self-learning or self-studies, then the essential pack is for you. So under the essential pack, you would gain access to the recorded versions of the 4 webinars, 5 exam standard mock exams with suggested answers, full Preseen analysis videos. So as I highlighted earlier, I just did one of the videos, but there are 4 videos in total. So you would get access to all 4 videos. You would get your hands on the annotated Preseen, the entire document. Then industry analysis slides, financial analysis slides, top 10 likely issues, and the case study familiarization kit. And on top of that, you would have access to the online discussion forum. If you are yet to join our WhatsApp group, I invite you guys to go to our website and simply click here. Then you can join our WhatsApp group. Okay, so do that. And so that's what you get if you invest on the essential pack, and the price is £99. And please be mindful that all the products which we are selling, all 4 types of products which we are selling, are available until the 28th of February. So if you're planning on doing your exam in February, it's prudent for you guys to invest on the products right now, because we are offering a 10% discount because you guys joined this webinar. As a thank you gift, I'll be sharing a 10% discount with you. A discount code will be shared via email as well as via the WhatsApp group. So utilize it right now, because if you are planning on doing your exams in Feb, you have so much of time on your hands. You can start preparing yourself right now. Okay, so that's that. Then moving on to the value pack. This is a package which suits students who are looking for one-to-one tutor support and mentoring. So if you need tutor support, or if you feel that you need to have or you value one-to-one feedback, then you need to go for the value pack. So everything which I mentioned under the essential pack falls under the value pack, but on top of that, you'd gain access to the online mock exam platform. So what does this online mock exam platform do? You can attempt all your 5 mock exams under real exam conditions. So our mock exam platform is created akin to the Pearson VUE system you'd see at your real exam. So rather than using the mock exam platform for the first time at your exam, you can get used to it by whilst you are preparing or attempting your mock exam. So all 5 mock exams can be done within the online mock exam platform. And on top of that, we are providing professional marking and one-to-one tutor feedback on 3 mocks, mocks 3, 4, and 5. So this is, I think you'd find this to be extremely beneficial, because you can go through the sample material. Simply click on this button and you would see the type of feedback which we provide at TCS. So we provide provide an in-depth evaluation into your answers, and on top of that, at the very end, we provide mark breakdowns as well, okay, which enables you to figure out how much of marks are allocated for each subtask and how much you have gained. And at the very end of the document, we'll be providing general comments as well. So by looking at all these things, all this type of feedback, you are in a position to improve your answers significantly. And on top of that, we are reachable via WhatsApp. You can simply DM me, and I'm more than happy to help you guys out. And on top of that, you'd get your hands on theory recap slides pertaining to OTQ syllabus content. So rather than going through pages and pages of theoretical content or having to refer study texts and whatnot, you can simply go through our theory recaps pertaining to P1, F1, and E1 in order to brush up your knowledge. And again, check out the sample material. In that, we have provided a sample pertaining to the type of theory recaps which we are providing. So the value pack is priced at £199. So that's that. Then let's move on to the plus packages. For each package, essential as well as value, we have introduced a plus package. So the essential plus is a package which suits students who are comfortable with self-learning yet need guidance to improve the quality of answers. So most students, I've heard students saying, okay, I did a good job at the exam, but when the results come out, they see that their answers are not up to point. Okay, that is mainly because you lack knowledge about theoretical content, especially P1 and F1 related areas. Most students who are coming through the FLP route, or most students who fail their exams, fail it because they lack theoretical knowledge. So in order to gain theoretical knowledge in a productive manner, what we have done is we have created 6+ hours of video lectures explaining the answers of mocks 3, 4, and 5. So via the mocks itself, by discussing the answers of the mocks, we are teaching theory. So rather than you having to go through theory separately and having to apply that knowledge, or you having to figure out how to apply that knowledge in your answers, both these things are achieved if you watch these videos. So there are 3 videos explaining mocks 3, 4, and 5. So via these explanations, you are learning theory, and on top of that, you are learning how to apply this knowledge in a standard manner, so that by investing on this product, you can significantly improve the quality of your answers. And this product is recommended for students coming through the FLP route or students who had failed the exam previously. Okay, so that's the Essential Plus package. It's priced at £175. And on top of that, if you had already invested on one of our products, and if you want to upgrade to a Plus package, our system will detect it, and only £75, the additional amount will be charged. We are not going to charge for the existing package which you had invested on. Then if you look at the Value Plus package, so this by investing on this product, you would have access to all study material under the value pack, plus the same videos, 6+ hours of video lectures where we are explaining the answers for mocks 3, 4, and 5. And this carries a pass guarantee. So if by any chance you utilize this product and end up failing, you would gain access to the same material free of charge in the subsequent sitting. And this is again recommended for students who are coming through the FLP route, as well as the students who had failed the exam previously, and it's priced at £275. And as I highlighted earlier, if you are yet to join our OCS WhatsApp discussion forum, please join it, so that you can easily raise questions from the lead tutors, and you can simply DM us as well. So all these benefits are there. Okay, so having said that, it brings us to the end of today's session. So you can contact us via our website, or simply drop us an email or WhatsApp us. And I invite you guys to follow us, our social media handles, via which you can keep yourself reminded or notified about upcoming webinars, free content which we are providing, and whatnot. So having said that, it brings us to the end of today's session. So let me remind you about the upcoming session, which is happening next Saturday. This is an extremely important webinar, so I invite you guys to attend it as well. And if by any chance, if you're not able to attend the webinar, that's totally fine. Watch the recorded version of it by referring to our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. So thank you very much, guys, for joining in. I'll see you guys next week. Good night and take care.